Now, before we start this tour, I wanted to show you all a aerial view of the floating island so that you kind of have an idea of where we are whenever I'm showing you the different areas. So in the top left-hand corner, I have my barn, and then over on the right-hand side of the island, I have my Winnie the Pooh house, as well as the tree that you'll see with the table in front. And then down here on the bottom, bottom, I have the 6 pine trees because we all know that's where Pooh tried to catch the heffalump. I can't remember if he caught him or not. And then over on the left-hand side, I have Woody's carousel because I thought that the colors very much matched my aesthetic. And then down over here in the bottom of the island, I made a cute little kind of a Kidcore area. On the right hand side, I have a stage that you saw in the images, and then a cute little campsite for the kids to play, and that hopefully will help you understand where we are whenever we are walking around the island. So I hope that this aerial view was very helpful. Let me know if it was or if it wasn't, and that whenever you go to decorate your island, you can now see how I did my pathing and how I lined it, as well as where I placed all of the items and where we are in retrospect to one another. So let's begin now with the tour. Well, hello, welcome or welcome back. My name is Allison, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you a full and complete tour of my meadow floating island. So without further ado, we are beginning. This is the first area that I ended up designing with this really adorable table and chair set. This is one of my favorite premium items, and I have gotten a ton of use out of it. In front of this premium house skin, I wanted to add a table and chairs because I always remember as a child watching Winnie the Pooh, and I think it was The Greatest Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and I loved that they always ate together, and it's something that I actually really enjoyed as a fond memory from my childhood was eating together at a table. And typically whenever you see all of the characters, there are often times where they're all sitting around a table and enjoying some delicious treats together. In the back of this house skin, I decided to put my bee farm, and I couldn't get a decent aerial view slash image of this area because all of the trees kept pushing the camera out of the area whenever I was in build mode, so you only get to see this area on the tour up close and personal. Whenever I was designing this area, I wanted to make sure that I included a ton of these bee boxes, and whenever I looked up a bee farm, they were all just lined up in a row for maximum efficiency. I didn't use real world photos or images as my inspiration for this. I just pulled all of this out of my mind, and whenever I was placing them down, they just felt a little bland. So I figured, well, why don't we just stick all of these adorable honey pot stacks all around and next to them. I don't know if anyone else has done this, but if somebody else has done this and posted a video before I have, they can have all of the full and complete credit. I really loved how this turned out and the way that that looked. That's how I decided to decorate around all of my bee boxes. And then whenever I am decorating, I love to max out all of these areas with flowers and different interesting finishes on the ground. So I love to use all of the beach meadow grass as well as these real game flowers and the landscape in build mode flowers because they add a lot of visual interest to the ground, and I really like that. And then in this area, this is a space filler, so we just have a couple of logs around a really cute campfire as well as some roasted marshmallows just hanging out there on the ground. Even though they're on the ground, you know, maybe somebody dropped them and forgot about them and just left them there because this is a bit of a Kidcore themed island in certain areas, as well as I would say about half the island is a bit more elevated and sophisticated compared to Kidcore for that rustic appeal, as well as a mixture of farmcore and cottagecore. So, and along this area, I had to add the Italian cypress in kind of to fence off this little volleyball net, and it is just another space filler, but I wanted this little spot to feel a little bit more elegant, and the Italian cypress does that for me. And I love them so much, I just have to include and use them in all of my designs. And I don't know if you all noticed, around my water, I hated seeing the mud that goes into the water. So I worked really, really hard to put as many plants in front of it to hide the mud, and I think I successfully did so. I would say though, for the record, this probably took me about 2 hours to do both of the ponds because it was very tricky in build mode to get the cursor over and place place the items because you can't get the camera there. If you're really patient and you want this look, just know you have to be patient and it's going to be a little bit difficult. Now we're going to go around here, and in this area I wanted to add a little cute eating area, and I decided that my theme for this food truck was going to be a taco and burrito truck. I really love tacos, and anytime I use this truck as a food truck, I feel like I just want it to be a taco truck because I love taco trucks. And on the table I place some tacos and burritos to go with that theme, to kind of show you that that's what I was going with. And I put a little bit of a buffet under the truck. I know that you can see the food in there. Let's just all imagine and pretend that this is our taco truck, and this is Disney Dreamlight Valley, and it's food that's free for all, and it just magically stays good forever. Anybody and everyone can come here and build themselves a taco or burrito and sit down and enjoy their meal. And then back here, I added the shaved ice because I wanted a little bit of that Kidcore aesthetic in my more elevated and sophisticated area, because I know that those Italian cypress trees really do make it feel a bit more adult. So I think that knowing that kids love shave ice and going with that Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh theme, that it was pretty appropriate. And then I stuck the bubbles up there with a couple of the lanterns in, because these Vitalis Minds lanterns are just stunning and they add so much light. It might be a mistake, and hopefully Gameloft leaves it because everybody loves it and is really happy with it, and we've all wanted lights that actually interact with the environment and brighten the space, and they are very efficient and effective at doing so. And then here, I didn't really know what to put back in this corner because I was using it for cooking and crafting, but I needed something back here, and I decided to go with kind of like a little secret fountain garden sitting area that was nice and quiet and secluded and off the beaten trail, where anyone and everyone could come and relax and have a little bit of peace, quiet, and solitude, which I think we all need a little bit more of that in our lives, maybe a lot bit more of that in our lives. That's how you get away from the hustle and bustle of everything that's happening on the island. I have the barn turned around for the front because I didn't want it to be a toy barn. I did want it to represent an actual farm barn. And then on the left-hand side, I originally had a pumpkin field over here, but I found that whenever I was trying to farm my pumpkins, it was very frustrating on a fully decorated island, and it was super inefficient and irritating, and I just got so fed up with it. I decided to stick Woody's carousel here because, again, I thought that it went great with that Kidcore aesthetic. And so this particular carousel, I've used it in so many builds. It matches anything that's autumnal. I loved that the main colors on my Peaceful Meadow Island are the yellow, the red, and the orange, and Woody's carousel fit perfectly with that. So I was so excited that it fit perfectly in the spot. I didn't have to change my design. I just deleted my pumpkin field and stuck it in there. And then over here we have Rabbit's house. So I used the tree to hide the Winnie the Pooh sign because I wanted this house to still be the Winnie the Pooh house, but I also wanted you to be like, oh yay, that's Rabbit's house. So this is Rabbit's house and his farm. I have a inspirational photo that I used whenever I was designing his farm, and I will pop it up. There it is. That's what I was using as my inspiration. Now here is the farms. Just want to say for anyone who's new to decorating on the floating islands that, one, they have no item limit, so you can put as many items down as you want. Nothing spawns. You can't get resources in any way, shape, or form. So fishing, digging, there are no resources in that way. If you're wondering, maybe that's why we have no item limit. It's so amazing because this is what I always wanted from Disney Dreamlight Valley. I just wanted to be able to put as many items as I desired down, and I felt like I could let my maximalist flag fly whenever I was designing this. And if you want something to feel really cute and lived in and just full of life, I would recommend filling up your ground as much as possible for where you're comfortable. And around all of my carrot patches, as you can see, I thought that it was really cute to just drop a bunch of little carrots because not only did it make it busy, it added a very large amount of visual interest to that area. And I always blend in my pathways if I can, and so I usually have to do a city core theme whenever I am designing. And now we are back at the well. okay, so that you can see where we are. But I usually have to go city core whenever I'm designing on my actual valley. And the fact that on the island, I didn't have to do that, I was so excited to wrap the pathways and blend them in with the earth. And I know that the rocks are a little bit glitched and you're seeing mud where we probably shouldn't be. I don't know why they're not pulling the color of the ground with them, because they typically do. I threw in a bunch of flowers with the rocks to kind of take away visually from the fact that that like stark lighter brown between the gray and the dark brown was kind of blatantly obviously not properly programmed, which is fine because there's always a way around everything. And Rabbit's house. So I was very frustrated that this floor of the house wasn't blending in, because I think that there is an issue with the coating of the islands. I just blended it in with a bunch of beach grass, rocks, and flowers. And then, as you remember and recall, Rabbit's house had a clothesline, and this represents the clothesline. And hopefully Gameloft will give us an actual clothesline in the future, but that one works as a temporary filler for the time being. Then over in this area on the left hand side, I am so excited for you guys to see. This is the first time on Disney Dreamlight Valley I have actually made a Kidcore area. So this little area over here it goes along the concept of whenever you were a kid and you wanted to go camping and maybe your parents let you camp in the backyard, or you did like a group camping trip that was maybe just one night but close to home and it wasn't in the woods and it was easy peasy, lemon squeezy, you just fill up a bag and everyone sleeps in a tent in a sleeping bag, and then you get to go home the next day, but you got to, make marshmallows and cook some food on the fire the night before. I actually went real camping a lot as a kid, and this concept I thought was really cute and clever, and I've heard about it from other kids that weren't so fortunate to get to go camping, so I thought that this was pretty appropriate. And those... that kid furniture, this is the first time I've used it. I regret buying it and I wish I could return it, but the fact that I did get to use it in this build was really exciting, and it was appropriate and it matched that Kidcore aesthetic, and I was really, really happy that I could just like squeeze it in there and it looked good, and those little cute dump truck chairs were just adorable. And then I have a rowboat that it's supposed to look like it's pulled up to shore and that the kids can play in it and go in and out as they please. And then I was so excited also to use this blanket fort furniture piece. I think that's what it's called, in kites. Winnie the Pooh, they're always flying kites, and I was so excited to place these kites down. And then I realized you still can't rotate them. For some reason, I thought that they patched that, but it's fine. The kites are there, and in the future, if I can rotate them, I will, but I love them so much, and they were extremely Winnie the Pooh themed and on theme, so I put 2 in. And now we're gonna go back to the well so that we can figure out where we are again and reorientate ourselves, and now we are gonna walk forward and check out this cute little space filler I put in here. I knew that on Winnie the Pooh they have the 6 pine tree forest, and I wanted to include that because that was really important to me, that some things were, historically accurate, literally accurate. And then I put in a hot air balloon because if you guys don't know, at Downtown Disney, they have a hot air balloon, and it's kind of like, it's one of those on the string, it just goes up and down. But it just made me think of my childhood, and it felt very Winnie the Pooh, because in Winnie the Pooh, they always have like balloons, and balloons are very kid themed as well. So because it was on theme, I added that hot air balloon into that area because I needed to fill the space. So this area over here, I was so excited that I got this item from Storybook Vale in my Scrooge shop. And because I got this item, of course I had to use it. I actually have been decorating and building on this island for about 3 weeks, and I've been waiting for certain items to come into my Scrooge shop, and as soon as I got them, I placed them, which was really exciting that all of the items I did want, I eventually did get while I was decorating this island. This area over here is my little honey stall, so I use the feta as honeycomb, and I did see a couple of other creators do that as well, so they get all the full credit. I know Opal was one who did that, so if you don't know who she is, her name is Opal, and she plays Disney Dreamlight Valley, and she did that as well, so she gets full and complete credit for it. I saw her do that, and she did it before me. And then this little area over here, okay, do you guys get the pun? It is a bar, right? But this is a root beer bar, so this is my cute little root beer bar. And then I also made it a dessert bar because I thought that was really punny and appropriate for kids. And then I love this little Tiana item, the sandwich sign, I think it's called. It's the food sign, but I never know the names of the items in this game. I just look at the pictures. I never look at the names. So this area over here has cupcakes because kids love cupcakes, so I had to add in all the cupcakes. And then I put hot chocolate in as well as a bunch of root beer. And then this dock. So this dock, you can't put items on it. You can't walk on it. It's very strange. It's pretty weird. And a lot of people are pretty upset that you can't walk on the dock. I am as well. But because of that, I love to use it as a stage. And this is probably the 5th build where I've used the dock as a stage. And I don't know if anyone's ever done this. And I don't think I've watched a video where somebody else has done this. But again, if someone else has done this before me, they can have all the full and complete credit. I don't need credit for anything. And I don't like the cardboard cutouts, but if I could put items on this dock, I would have put, on this little bridge thing, I would have put those cardboard cutouts, but I'm not a big fan. They just are really tacky and I don't really like them. I love this pretzel stand so much. And the reason I love it is because of the lights. The lights around it are just so cute. I love the colors. And again, they're very autumnal. They match the aesthetic that I have for this island. And with the red, the yellow, the gold, all of those nice warm honey tones, I thought that the pretzel stand was just perfect. And I wish that they had actual pretzels because look, the popcorn. If you're watching a show on the stage, of course you're going to want to eat popcorn. So I put this popcorn stand in, and then for continuity, I made sure that I gave every little cushion where kids were like hanging out on or characters were hanging out on. Everybody gets popcorn, and I just really love to add continuity in there. So same with like the taco truck and the burrito truck, right? Like everything matches. It wasn't just weird random food that didn't make sense. So I always try to shoot for that type of a continuity. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. And now I am going to give you a full and complete tour without any voiceover, just music of this island down here, walking around during sunset, where all of the tones are very warm and just creamy and very like honey vibes. And I know that everybody loves to see things at sunset, but sometimes it's really dark and you can't see all of the detail in its full and bright glory. So for that reason, I wanted to give you the tour with me speaking where it was very bright, and then a final tour during sunset. So stay tuned and you can see how gorgeous and stunning it is during sunset.
for infinity.